Hi, everyone. Welcome back from the break. My name is Cassandra. I'll give this a few minutes for some students to come back. I see Apple is here already. Hello, Apple. Good to see you again. Lovely. So, did you enjoy Professor Kiva's lesson? She talked about marriage. But today, I'm going to talk about everything before we get married. So my topic today is dating and romance. We have some more students coming in. Lovely. Apple says that he enjoyed the last lecture. Awesome to hear. Very good. T. Jenny and Bob, welcome back. I'm happy to see you. T. Jenny, dating and romance, correct. Yes, we will be talking about dating and romance quite soon, very shortly. Song Lim, hello, welcome. Great to see you here. A is back. Great, excellent. Hello, everyone. Are you having a good day? The weather is beautiful outside, isn't it? And the cherry blossoms are blooming. I think that gets us in the mood for romance. So I'm quite excited today to talk to you about love, dating, and romance. Excellent. Okay, we have a few students here, so why don't we begin? This is going to be our plan for today. So I will talk about some useful expressions that you can use to describe forming relationships, breaking those relationships, and everything in between. I'll give some phrasal verbs that are useful for you when speaking about dating and romance, some other common expressions, and as usual, we will end with a quiz. So pay attention, everybody. Oh, we have more people here. T. Jenny says, cabin fever ellipses. Cabin fever, jump, jump, jump. That's a really great expression, and that's an awesome way to sum up the situation right now with the coronavirus. Cabin fever means you're so eager to go outside, you're restless, you're feeling very confined from being indoors for too long. Very good. It is breezy today. Apple says subscribe and like. Apple, wow. You're doing such a good job of promoting our channel. Thank you. Okay, so why don't we start with a few definitions? And I would love to hear from you first. What is dating? I will type the question. And would you please type your answer? So please type your definition. What is dating? Who will have the first response? I'm really curious. What is dating? Actually, dating is really complicated, and we're going to be talking about that later. So if you don't have a firm idea in your mind, don't worry. That's okay. Just type what you think, the first answer that pops into your mind. Oh, we've got some lovely responses already. Haven't gone on a date in ages. That's a really entertaining comment, and cheer up. And by the way, I laughed a lot because I'm not able to pronounce your name. I see it as a bunch of Korean characters, but I'll just the first one is the D sound. Okay, anyway, just maybe later you can tell me how I can address you. Anyway, clever name and clever comment. Song Lim says a couple meets and spends time together. Yes, lovely answer. Thank you so much. Apple, dating means when you're going on dates, you are actively getting out there and meeting people and spending time with them. Oh, very nice. Yes, I like that definition very much. Well done. Yes, we also have John saying when a girl and a man have a relationship. Sure, that's one combination. So between a man and a woman, or it could be between, man and a man, a woman and a woman, right? Like it could be very, very broad. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Yeah. And he says meeting people. Excellent. Meeting someone you love, says T. Jenny. Yes, very nice. Oh, call me Emily. Okay, Emily. Awesome. Thank you. Great name. Okay. Jano says seeing someone for a relationship or for fun. Oh, yes. That's a very good. definition of it as well. Hyunju says, spending time together with one significant other. Lovely. And dating, says Bobby, is going out with the opposite gender who I like the most at the moment. That's right. There's this aspect of, it signifies that you're choosing the best person for you. But sometimes people like to date a wide variety of people. So again, we'll be talking about the intricacies. That means the deeper subjects a little bit later when it comes to dating. So this is a great brainstorm. Jano says, opposite gender always. Well, depends on your culture. We have kind of this traditional idea of dating, of course. But nowadays, especially in Western countries, it could really go any way. Questionable. Okay, well, we could save that for another topic, another discussion. So I think that maybe a good way to sum up dating is it's a stage of a romantic relationship when two people, they're meeting socially to determine if they're the right fit for each other. We often have this expression, the one, finding the one person who is best for you. Now, some people date for fun. We call that dating casually. Maybe they're not so serious about finding a romantic partner that will lead to marriage. Other times, we say that people like to date seriously or to date for marriage. So people who do that, they're dating, they're meeting people, they're forming these relationships in the attempt to find the right person to get married to. Of course, again, more varieties of dating, but we'll touch on that later. And my other question is, what is romance? Who can define romance? What is romance? Here we go. That's the question in the chat room for you. Let me catch up on some comments. Oh, Jano and Bob. Okay. Glad you resolved that. Dating casually, my bad. Okay, so I see. We're just kind of clearing up some stuff from before. Okay, what is romance? What is romance? Jano says love, right? Romance is related to love, certainly. Okay, we have more students trickling in. Hi, Rose. Welcome back. Apple says, romance is the feeling we chase in relationships. It's a powerful force that makes you feel connected to someone in a deeper way. Very nice and very poetic. Well done. Oh, T. Jenny. Romance is usually a short relationship of love between two people. I feel you. That means I understand, but I think the goal is to find a romance that can last for ages, for decades, a love that never dies, a loving feeling. Well done, Song Lim. Yes. Feeling sweet and loved. Well done, Emily. Jano, and eating lots of ice cream. Oh, so I think that we can define romance. Actually, I want to use all of your ideas here to make a definition. So we can describe it maybe as just the feelings of people who are in love and their behavior that could be very maybe caring or affectionate or sweet or loving. And nervous, says Rose. Yes, what a good aspect to bring up. We often describe feeling nervous when we're in love. We have this expression about butterflies, like butterflies in our stomach, because we feel just so maybe on edge, or, the situation isn't quite usual. We say, oh, I have butterflies in my stomach. I'm so nervous whenever I meet my partner. Right, Hyunju Kim says, feeling love and being sexually attracted to. Yes, that's another component as well we'll talk about. And A says, romance is just a fantasy that you dream of. There are definitely, imaginative and fantastic elements to romance. Some people believe in it and others don't. Intense romance is hard to keep for a long time. That's right. A lot of psychologists say that there are several stages in a relationship. And after the romantic period, we usually call that romantic limerence. When that dies down, two people form maybe a more comfortable and closer bond. But that romantic stage is so exciting. And it's the subject of so many movies, so many books, so many love songs. Very good. Okay, we have some awesome explanations. Why don't we move on? So before we start our in-depth discussion, I want to show a few phrasal verbs that are quite useful and common when native speakers are talking about romance and relationships, finding a date, breaking off a relationship, and so on. So why don't we get started? Let's go this way. Give me a moment, please. I hope we can see. Can we see everyone? Looks okay. Please type yes if you can see this screen here. I'm waiting for a yes. I'll give you some time. There might be a little bit of a delay. Thank you. Yes, very good. Okay, so I'm going to describe the first phrasal verb, hit on. Maybe you've heard it before, or maybe you haven't. It's to show someone that you are attracted to them. Example sentence is, all of my girlfriends, and in that case, we're not meaning like 여자친구, just my female friends, my friends who are girls. All of my girlfriends were hitting on George. Now, hitting on, it doesn't mean that I'm physically assaulting George. I'm not tapping George. I'm not touching George. Well, maybe I am, but I'm certainly not trying to hurt George. It's quite the opposite. Jano says, those bad girls. Very funny. So also, apologies to any Georges out there. It was just a random name. I thought it was a very innocent name. So all of my girlfriends were hitting on George. They were showing their attraction toward George very strongly. Oh, and by the way, if you would like to use hitting on in a sample sentence, please go ahead. So while I'm talking, I would love for you to try out this expression, hit on. So please type a sentence, or if you have a question, how do I use hit on? Or if you have an example of hitting on somebody, I would love to see that. Apple says, he hit on me. That's right. I'm sorry that I was hitting on your sister. Oh, gosh. This is a very fun subject today, everybody. So hitting on, honestly, I'm not the best person to give advice in this area, but I could say perhaps if the girlfriends were hitting on George, maybe they were complimenting George a lot. Maybe they were trying to sit next to George, and maybe they were even lightly touching George. I wish I had some type of prop. Just a moment. I'm so sorry, but I do have this orange. Bear with me for a second. This can be our George, okay? He's very happy because he's receiving a lot of female attention. Okay, this is George. So all of my girlfriends were hitting on George. George was hit on by so many women because George is so popular and so attractive, like this. Let me see your sample sentences. I am not hitting on you. You are so mistaken. I am just friendly. Okay, yes, you're bringing up a good aspect there. People have a hard time knowing what is hitting on someone and what is just being friendly. Of course, because there's a fine line and everyone has different feelings about that. Bob says, bro, stop hitting on me. I am straight. George is so cute. Thank you. Yeah, George is very cute. I got hit on my heart. Okay, in that case, we'll have some expressions later about our heart, like our heart being broken. We would say that we get hit on by another person. So if George is expressing his attraction to you in a very strong way, you would say, I got hit on by George. Did you hit on someone while working? Interesting question. Right, maybe we shouldn't do that in our office. We'll be talking about that later too, about office relationships. Okay, good job. We'll move on to our second phrasal verb, ask out. And this one is fun to talk about. Ask out is when we ask somebody to go on a date with us, to spend time with us, to get to know us romantically. So, he asked me out, meaning somebody asked me to spend time with them in a romantic way. They want to have a date. So please go ahead and try to use this expression, ask out. You could say that, for instance, my boyfriend asked me out after maybe a few dates. So, okay, there's a little bit of two meanings to this word. It could mean to go on a date, or it could kind of mean to keep going on dates, to become a couple. So people can use it both ways, but I'm going to just teach this way here to start dating, to go on a date. Apple says, nobody will ask me out now. Oh, I'm so sorry. T. Jenny, okay, I've got yours. Rose, how do you ask a girl out? Excellent question. We'll talk about that later. DVD says, I wish Hyunbin would ask me out. Perfect usage. And I would say, me too. To be honest, your sister asked me out, says A. So Kwang Sung says, only couple. Well, again, it's a little bit different person to person. Most people think that, sure, when you ask somebody out on a date, you ask them out, you are building towards being a couple, and every situation is different. So somebody could eventually ask someone, oh, will you be my boyfriend? Will you be my girlfriend? That can usually happen a little bit later. So asking out is often the first stages. So you ask someone out to dinner, you ask someone out to the movies, and so on. Hyunju says, he asked her out, suggesting to go to a movie together. That's right, very good. My husband doesn't ask me out for a romantic dinner anymore. Sure, we can use it like that, Jano, as well, because asking out could be just to invite somebody out to do something. Very good. Okay, well done. Let's move on. Now, these are a little more sad and intense phrasal verbs. So, lead on. This means that you're faking romantic interest in somebody, or you're misleading somebody. You're not being honest. So, I don't know why I used George, but he'll come back here. George really led me on. I thought George liked me. I thought George wanted to go on a date with me, but George led me on. He was just being kind. He was wasting my time. That is called leading somebody on. You don't plan on actually dating them or forming a couple with them. That is to lead someone on, to fake romantic interest. I think George is a bit of a playboy. Okay, let's see some sample sentences, everybody. Have you ever led somebody on? Have you ever been led on? This one is a little bit tricky, but I would love to hear what you have to say. A says, then you can also lead somebody on like George. Okay, perfect. Well done. Great sentence. We often hear a lot of songs, heartbreaking love songs about somebody being led on and no relationship ever coming from it. Okay, so Apple, you're using it in a different way. I want someone to lean on. Lean on is more like lean on my shoulder, right? I will support you. This is lead. Lead. Lean with an N, lead with a D. But that's an awesome expression. I like that as well. So you did a good job. Try lead on. Jano says, why do you keep leading me on? She is just leading him on, says Rose. Very good. T. Jenny, I've been led on a few times before. Fighting. That's life, right? I'm so sorry, Hyunbin. I didn't mean to lead you on. Alohi, alohi ho, leading on Hyunbin. DVD says Hyunbin led me on. Wow, a lot of Hyunbin fans in here today, but I'm okay with it. Perfect sentence. Very good. Hyunju says, his too kind manner led many of his classmates on. Very good. I'm sure we all know a person like that. They're just maybe too friendly and they can mistakenly give somebody false hope. False hope is another thing that's related to being led on. It means there's no chance of a relationship forming. She hurt her mind because her boyfriend led her on her birthday. Yeah, sure. She hurt her mind. You could say that, she was very depressed. She was so sad. She was so heartbroken. Good job. George says, Jano, stop looking at me with those beautiful eyes. You are leading me on. Very good, everyone.